Nanashi!
We've got the perfect solution then.
You can do it.
What is up, YouTube? This is Nanashi back with another Weiss Schwarz deck profile video. This time I'll be showing you my all-new, mostly yellow Tokyo Revengers deck. This is one of those shows that has a very strange premise, but the execution was surprisingly excellent, and on some level, relatable. Correcting your life and others around you for the better, getting to relive your glory days as a juvenile delinquent? Who wouldn't want that? So I focused hot and heavy on that concept and found a yellow build that is dedicated to it. And you'll see what I mean when we take a closer look. Starting with the level 0 cards, we have a pair of birthday present Emma and Draken, who might be the single most adorable clashing couple I have ever witnessed. When you play it from hand, you gain 2 effects. All opponents' characters in the front row lose 500 power for the turn, and by discarding a card and paying 1 stock, you can add any revenge character from deck to hand. We have 3 childhood friend Takuya, a 3k beat stick with no ability of its own, but trust me when I say he serves a very grand purpose later. We have a pair of Festival Draken and Mikey, and I know for a fact everyone has this level of friendship with someone in the world. When you play it from hand, you gain 2 effects. If either player has 5 or more cards in their memory, each player can return all but 4 of them to the waiting room. And you can discard a Climax and pay 1 stock to put a Climax in your waiting room into your hand. We have 3 I'll Protect You Hinata, Takemichi's love interest. When you play her from hand, you gain 2 effects. You can pay a stock and put the top card of your deck into your clock to add any level 1 or lower character from your deck to your hand, and you can shuffle 2 characters from your waiting room back into your deck to give her 2,000 power for the turn. We have a play set of Mood Maker Yamagishi, who also serves the same grander purpose. In addition, when he's played from hand, he lets you swap a card in your hand with a card from your clock, and if there's a character facing him during the opponent's attack phase, he can move himself to any other open zone in the front line. We have 3 7th Elementary Mikey, the person that seems to be at the forefront of every major event in the story when he gets a little older. When you play him from hand, you gain 2 effects. He gains 1,000 power per opponent's character during the turn you play him, and you can put a revenge character in your hand into your clock to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put any character among them into your hand, and send the rest to the waiting room. And we have 3 Special Person Emma, Draken's love interest. When you play a Climax, she grants a character the ability of, when it attacks, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 back on top and the other one into the waiting room. And she has a Brainstorm ability that for every Climax you reveal, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck again, add any card among them to your hand, and send the rest to the waiting room. Then we get to the level 1 cards. We have a pair of Man of the Times Takemichi, the main character of the show, although given that portrait, probably not the best one to use to introduce him with. He's a counter character that says if your character is being attacked, you can pay a stock and discard him to give that character 2,500 power for the turn. We have 1 Please Save Everyone Akun, one of the many darker moments in the series. When he's reversed in battle, he gains 2 effects. If you have 2 or fewer cards in your memory, you can put him there instead of the waiting room, and if the opponent's character that reversed him had a higher level than the player's level, you can put that character into their stock and put the bottom card of their stock into their waiting room. We have 3 Preoccupied with Perversions Makoto, another member of the group with a grander purpose in the deck. When you play him from hand, he can take a copy of Childhood Friend Takuya from the waiting room and put it underneath him as a marker. And while he has a marker, he gains 4,000 power and the ability to pay a stock on attack declaration so he can perform 2 trigger checks. Moving into the level 2 cards, we have a playset of Caring Towards Friends Akun, the main tie-in to that grander purpose of the other cards. You can play him at level 1 if you have Thanks for the Courage Takemichi in your clock. He gains 3,000 power if you have 2 or more other revenge characters out, and he has a Climax combo where if he's in the center stage and there are at least 2 other revenge characters, then all copies of those Takuya, Yamagishi, and Makoto cards, plus this Akun and Thanks for the Courage Takemichi, are treated as choice triggers for the turn. And yes, if you commit to playing multiple Akuns, those trigger treatments would stack into double or even triple choice triggers for the entire turn. We have 3 Trigger Naoto, an appropriate name because of his role as both the activator for the time leap and because he's a police officer. If the level of the cards in your level total 3 or more, he gives all other revenge characters 500 power times their level. Now we get to the level 3 cards. We have a pair of No Matter How Many Times I Failed Takemichi, another one of those incredibly sad moments in the show. When you play him from hand, you can look at up to 3 cards off the top of your deck and rearrange them as you like, then choose and return any opponent's character to their hand. And while face up, he gives all revenge characters in front of him 2,000 power and the ability to pay a stock and discard a revenge character when they are attacked to make them unreversible for the turn. We have 3 special person Hina, and given she is literally the reason Takemichi is doing all this, that title is appropriate. You can play her from hand at level 2 if you have 4 or more revenge characters out, and when you play her from hand, you can send one other revenge character you control to the waiting room to move the top card of your clock into your stock. And we have a playset of Thanks for the Courage Takemichi, the big game-ending brawler. When you play him from hand or by his own effect, you can heal 1 damage, and he has a Climax combo where after he finishes an attack, you can pay 2 stock and discard 2 cards and put him into the memory to take any card with Takemichi in its name and put it on the stage where he was. And finally, we have the Climax cards. We have a playset each of Mizo Middle 5 and Time Leap. They both do the exact same things. When played from hand, all characters you control gain 1,000 power and a soul, and if revealed for an attack trigger check, you get to take any character in your waiting room with a soul icon and either put it in your hand or your stock. And that is the deck. I love the unique mechanic this deck brings to the table. Turning upwards of 20 cards in your deck into choice triggers for a turn is absolutely hilarious. The finisher takes a basic concept like a restander and gives it a unique spin, and the attention to detail on both of these and their correlation to the story are incredibly on point. Now, Season 2 of the show has been recently confirmed, and hopefully that means that we're going to be getting another wave of support for this deck, and there's a lot that can be done with it. I thank you for watching the deck profile video. If you can think of any ways I can improve this mostly yellow build, feel free to let me know. In the meantime, this has been Nanashi, signing out.